So the quick context for this call is I happened to be at the Colored Cow office earlier last month, where the tech folks in the social impact space got together, the Tech for Dev consortium, and that is where the Glyphic team also was part of that particular meeting. And I saw that, I mean, just how widely applicable this tool could be, and we kind of decided that okay, let's host one conversation specifically for our network to see, and to explore many such use cases. And so before we get on to Glyphic, I think we what we want to know, or rather kind of point I wanted to make, is that today we want to be accessible to as many people as in different organizational contexts and across our stakeholders. And perhaps today, arguably, WhatsApp is perhaps the most accessible medium that is across different groups of age and all kinds of diversity. It's just the most easily accessible medium. And how, as organizations, do we have our identity over this channel? Because most of the times the default way to reach out to us has been email, and email is not the easiest. It's not as easy as sending a message on WhatsApp. So as how do we have our own identity as an organization over WhatsApp? Does that mean, I put out my personal number, or an individual at an organization puts out their WhatsApp number? And if they do put it out, how do we as a team manage these conversations? And how do we continue to manage these conversations at scale? For example, what happens if we have 1 million beneficiaries? What if the incoming inquiries runs into thousands? Then how do we continue to support and address some of these queries while using the WhatsApp channel, which is so useful and ubiquitous across everybody today? And how do we use a platform which allows us to manage these conversations both as a team, as well as bring in automation at the right places to help manage these conversations at scale? So this is the context which I felt like we can use Glyphic very well. And this tool has specifically been built with the context of having worked with nonprofits. So the team, it was an open source product kind of conceived by the Tech for Dev consortium led by Donald Lobo. And then they worked actively with different nonprofits. It's already being live and used in production across probably 30 odd organizations. So it has been kind of built specifically for this use case. And that is why we felt that, okay, it all the more reason for us to go do a deep dive today. So we'll start off with Abhishek from the Glyphic team, who will walk us through the broad context and the use cases for how Glyphic is currently being used. And then later we'll move to Gautam, who is part of the Reap Benefit team, where he'll tell us stories of how actually they've used it, leveraged the platform at scale to get crowdsourced information, as well as to manage logistics. I'll let him go into the details later. Post that, we can do a quick Q&A, and then of course all three of us will be available to you, not just during this, and even post today's conversation as well, to kind of, if at all you're interested to explore this tool, I'd be more than happy, and everyone at the Glyphic team will be happy to kind of assist you through that process. Okay, so Abhishek, with that, I'll let you take the lead.
All right, thanks, Akshay. So I'll change my screen. Yeah, okay. So I hope you can see this. Great. So like Akshay's already, explained how WhatsApp is becoming like a really, really powerful tool for us to connect with each other, with our families. I mean, how we do it in our privileged sections of society with our families, friends. But since it's expanding and, into even the remotest corners of India and the developing world, it seems to be like a good way to, also connect with your beneficiaries, deliver your program on WhatsApp, engage with them, and build these life-changing connections. Now, I'll quickly give you a very small example, an example of how WhatsApp is being used today. And I'll talk about it in education sense, and please feel free to apply it, how in your domains also, because although WhatsApp is domain agnostic, you can use it for education, health awareness, and like crowdsourcing. Reap Benefit will also talk about those things, and later for COVID chatbot, and so on and so forth. And people are finding unique ways to apply it. But just for the scope and the time, I'll just cover the education bit today. So there's an organization called the Apprentice Project. They run their chatbot with about 2,000 children. They were again, due to pandemic, they found it hard to connect with the children. They tried different tools, but nothing worked because onboarding people onto different platforms was a big friction. So today, as of now, I mean, it's been 7, 8 months that they've been running the program. They are reaching out to 2,000 children and building strong connections with them, sending weekly activity, also getting those information back from activity responses back, analyzing it, and then building dashboards. They've themselves sent exchanged 3 lakh messages. And what they do is, they interact with the children from 4th to 10th grade and facilitate this activity-based learning online. And what Glyphic gives you is this, a medium to interact with your students. So your end users are using WhatsApp. You are using Glyphic to see all of the conversations kind of stream into this one platform. All the chats, all of your team has access to it, and this is how it kind of looks. I'll share more later. But you can set up content delivery, automated messages for different topics, keep it very personalized for that user, and we'll see how. But you're all able to do it, and it runs in an automated manner, but with, of course, the help of human in the loop. So yeah, I mean, you create an opportunity for your end users to interact with you. How Tap does it for learning and making, learning a fun process and engage in an engaging manner.
Abhishek, are you changing any slides? Sorry to interrupt, but because we're still seeing the same screen.
It's not coming. Your screen is not.
Okay, hang on. It shows to me that I'm sharing. I'll just quickly restart. Does it show you this opportunity for children to interact with?
Yeah, now we finally see it. Yeah, can you please run us through the previous slides just in case we missed something?
So this is where I was showing about the Tap. They have this profile picture, their name, and this is how they've set up 7 months, 2,000 children, 3 lakh messages with children from 4th to 10th grade. Are doing activity-based learning. And this is kind of the platform, how it looks, so that all the messages from your end user comes here, you're responding to them here that way. And, you're creating opportunity for, basically you're giving them more touch points, a stronger touch point to interact with them on one-to-one basis. And I think the biggest strength of this platform is scaling it to, because once you've set it up for 100,000, 5,000 children or your end users, then scaling it to 100,000 or millions of people becomes only a fraction of effort, going further. So we see a lot of, and that's what NGOs are seeing right now. That a lot of their programs are getting revolved around WhatsApp, and it's becoming their core of how they deliver their programs. And this is all made possible because mobile phones and data is cheap. Data is the cheapest in India, according to studies, but overall accessibility to mobile phones and data is getting a lot, accessible. So now how to think about WhatsApp and use, I mean, we see that whenever you want to kind of digitally interact with even more than 500 or thousands of beneficiaries, you can deploy or use WhatsApp. Of course, each of your program design will differ as to what you specifically want to do. You want to probably run a minimal baseline and then send content over a period of time and then evaluate how they're performing now. Again, screen is not being shared.
It's being shared, Abhishek. Yeah, no
now
problem.
It's changing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, and whenever you see the scope of digital interaction, you can think about using WhatsApp and with your beneficiaries. Now, some of the key use cases could be for education, for healthcare, domains, and like content delivery. So wherever you need to do any form of like, if you created this content that you need to deliver, then you can do it over WhatsApp because it provides you rich media support. There's text, there's images, there's audio, there's video, documents. You can collect those responses also. For example, if you want them to send you video note, create a video and send you as a response, you can do that. Audio, all of that is possible. So, and then the second use case is where you reduce this human effort, where you've been running a program, you've been doing a trial, but it scales now, right? And then if you have lesser human resources to do it manually, then you need to think about a system. And how do you do that? Then you start thinking about automation and using these platforms. And then you can also conduct short surveys, gather data, not like very in-depth baseline, very long forms, but at least some form of data collection can happen right from their WhatsApp. You can also use it in different formats. Like if you have volunteers, if you have social workers, you can deploy it with them to help out with the end user beneficiaries as well. So there are various ways to deploy it. You can, similar to how IVR systems used to have helplines, you can also have case management or grievance addressal system on WhatsApp. So you receive these queries on WhatsApp and then you respond to them. So there could be categories of grievances also that you receive, or categories of questions which you can then automate and send some form of responses to your end users. And then it's all, of course, integrated. It can be integrated with CMS, CRMs, MIS, any other system that you use. So let's say you have an appointment reminder system, right? And you say that, okay, an appointment has been booked. Now you want to send an alert, because after the alert, there is this feedback of how the interview, how the appointment went. So there are these touch points which need to happen, which you can collect information. And you don't need somebody from your help desk or your team to call people up to record. It can happen over WhatsApp. So integration with systems. And some of the biggest benefits of Glyphic we see are, it's a channel for communication with, which you can also share with your team. So different team members could be interacting with people from different sects, like it could be Delhi, Punjab. So if you have different geographies that you cater to and different teams managing it, then you can create those collections and have those conversations. And it gives you this one-to-one communication channel to reach directly to your beneficiaries on their phone. It's a personal channel. People prefer to, for a lot of conversations, people don't connect in groups. They kind of prefer that they're able to, respond in their own personal space and time. Which then makes WhatsApp, easy and handy. With Glyphic, you can launch the chatbot very easily, very quickly, because the work that will be required to set up the systems, think about architecture, think about hosting, all of that has been sorted for you. Even the community is building. So then that makes it really easy for you to think about and adopt this kind of a platform. So it's easy to launch. You gather stories, success stories at fingertips, meaning like if those conversations are happening, you see in real time, how people are responding, and the behavior changes can be captured on the conversations. And then all of this data gets streamed into your data warehouse. You can analyze, report. So with one of the NGOs, they said, we used to run this program, but our data analysis part took so much time. It took months to kind of, gather it on paper, convert it into digital, and then do this analysis. And now with the tools like this, all of it is already digital, and all of it is automated. Your reporting system is automated so that you can see those charts and graphs on the go. So those success stories and analytics are important for all of your programs. And this is slightly connected. So you measure your reach, how many people are getting activated, how many people are seeing all the messages, responding all the messages. And then based on, you can also learn like what is the engagement with the content, where are people dropping off, where do you need to modify things? Is it the content, is it the frequency, is it the timing of the message, where exactly do you need to change? And you can go into that kind of granularity of things, because you have complete view of how your program is running. And we feel like behavior change is one of the biggest factors you can adopt like with WhatsApp. And since WhatsApp is on a high, I mean, there people want to use it. We use it every day, and we are all, our usage time on WhatsApp is like I think one of the highest on phones. It's not just the download number of downloads, but it's also the amount of time we spend on it per day. So and that's true for like all wherever it has penetrated. So it's a good time to think about this system and really use it. Yeah, there is no coding involved. All the conversation flows and everything you build on your own. We enable you to become a lot dependent on your own, by yourself to create, modify, evolve the platforms, and for you and your team. So there's no coding involved. Yeah, I mean, scale your impact, use it for whatever scope you'd like, and that's it. Now, these are just, so yeah, Graphic enables you to have these conversations with large number of beneficiaries. And you can keep these conversations personal and very specific to contact. For example, if somebody is coming from Punjab, you can take them to a certain kind of flow. If they're coming from Delhi, you can take it to a certain kind of flow. And if that's a male, you can do something else. If there's a female, you can do something else. If they want a particular service, let's say you have three different, you have a scholarship or some education program, then you can create this very channelized conversation flow. It can be modeled to collect data such as engagement rate, how they're engaging with the content. You can understand all of that. And then it's targeted for awareness, education, training, because like this is the core of most of the things we do, right? The literacy of that will be so even if there is a program that is not education or awareness related, there will be some things that will run in parallel that you need to educate people on, and then you can trigger these behavior changes. So quick feature overview. Glyphic and what supports all the languages of your choice, like regional languages. And you can send, receive rich media. Like I mentioned earlier, you can track engagement, you can analyze your data, you can generate all kinds of reports. And you can also send messages in batches. For example, you create a collection of contacts, let's say 500 contacts which belong to art category who want to learn art from you. So you can send them all this weekly art activities at once and together. And all the data belongs to you. You have complete access. It's private, it's yours. You can give relevant access to your team and partners like I just mentioned. So if there are some contacts that are managed by me and some contacts that are managed by Akshay, then we can manage our own, we have view of those contacts and we can interact with them. And Akshay can't see my contacts and I can't see. I mean, in case you need that kind of, private control or unique control to those users. And yes, there is SaaS and self-hosting, since many NGOs would prefer to kind of have somebody set the entire thing up and then, hand over the platform to them. So that's how SaaS route makes a lot of sense. But if we have tech teams, then Glyphic being open source, you can set it up yourself as well. For us, for this platform, SMS and IBR are not supported. We have not integrated these two tools. Although in future, we are thinking how we can minimally include SMS just for nudges. But yeah, that's in our roadmap. And you cannot use, the downside is that you cannot have group functionality. This is also something we've been trying to think and innovate on. Like, how can you still use WhatsApp with, and that's on our cards, but it's nothing available just yet. So it's in pipeline. Okay. So if so far, you feel that there is something that you'd like to use or explore, then what you need to do is, and these are just some basic checks. Of course, different teams and different people will have different requirements, but as per our suggestion, it's good to have a team member who can kind of think through this and allocate that team member to manage your WhatsApp program for content editing, creation, or even managing that part. Then contacts management. Even the conversations, just to make sure that conversations are happening at the right time, all the people are being responded. I mean, of course, for the automated bit, yes, but in case somebody is getting stuck somewhere, then you can nudge them, you can bring them back, and manually intervene. And then it's good to estimate and allocate a budget for your trials, for your pilots, for the launch. So everything can be calculated beforehand, so that you have a plan early on. And then it's also really important to have a communication plan. What does your automated message flow look like, right? And we have examples from previous NGOs, and not just examples. There's learnings and there's resources from what they've done. So, and it's good to think of it as a gradually growing program rather than we have 10,000 people, let's send them message. So think about it like get started with 50, 100, 500 contacts and gradually scale it, because at each stage there's something to be learned, and that helps you evolve your program and keep improving it. So these are just scientists. Of course, we'll we can discuss this once you also think about it. Once you want to go ahead. And getting started in terms of setting up WhatsApp Business API and with chatbot, it's simple. All you need is a phone number. You need to design your conversation flows, and then of course it goes to monitoring and evaluating how things are running. Coming to pricing quickly, so there is two components to this. One is the SaaS, which I mentioned to you earlier, where you get everything. You don't need to worry about any tech part here. It's all set up for you. You just need to go into that URL, which will be unique to your organization, and start accessing your system. That route is so you pay 7,500 per month for that, and there's a one-time setup fee where we give you 5 hours of consulting, so that in the beginning, if you need some customization, if you need some help in the beginning, then we are there for you. So there's one component which is a SaaS thing, and the second is the messages, of course. So till WhatsApp Business API becomes completely accessible, we need to pay for each of the messages. And that's the thing with WhatsApp Business API, you need to pay for each message. And there are two types of messages. If you and I are having backend, like your end user and your NGO is having a back and forth conversation, then WhatsApp charges you a lot less, 7.5 paisa. But if your end user is not responding and you need to keep nudging them, then you need to send this. You need to pay for this template message. So that's the structure like. And just to give you a very brief example, if you're interacting with, let's say, 1,000 beneficiaries, exchanging 40 messages and 10 messages, your monthly cost for messaging is 6,800. And the total cost will be 7,500 plus 6,800. Also, at larger volumes, like if you're interacting with millions of people, or even 10,000 people, the Gupshup charges are capped at, actually this has been revised, this is 750, which is like 55,000 per month is the maximum you need to send for any session message costs. And after that, you just need to pay for the template. And okay, I can quickly show you a demo of the, what Glyphic looks like today. I'll actually show you the live version.
Thinking of cracking a data scientist role at a top tech
YouTube ads.
company? Well, the research data says that 80%.
You're showing us a YouTube video, is it, Abhishek?
Yeah, I was planning to, but I can. That's why I think I'll change it to live demo.
Yeah, we can do a live demo. Or I mean, should we switch to Reap Benefits play of how they do it? I think that's a demo, right?
Yeah, I can quickly show the interface. I'll just take
Okay.
Sure. I'll just take like 1 minute, and then
okay.
Are we running low on time? Then we can move to.
I think we can.
So I mean, we plan. Yeah, we can do a quick demo and then we'll move to Reap Benefit.
Okay. Awesome. So this is how this is the platform. This is what I've been talking about so far. So somebody just messaged us on WhatsApp. This is Shubham Dwaria, I believe it's somebody from ColoredCow team. So yeah, they messaged, and as soon as they say hi, an automated message goes to them, asking for whether they want to connect with us long term or not.
So just to clarify, Abhishek. So this is what we are seeing here. I mean, Abhishek, correct me if I'm wrong. Is so ColoredCow and the Glyphic team, right? So for the setting up of the initial Glyphic platform, also has a helpline, like a WhatsApp chatbot embedded into the website. Now, as those queries are coming in live, this is what the Glyphic team sees. And there are certain responses that are automated and some, but then if we want to personally respond to a specific message, that is something that the team also has access to. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, Akshay, should I share your chat?
Yeah, why not? You can see all the nudges that I've been getting.
Yeah. This is where it began, like Akshay's messages. He said, hi, Glyphic team, we asked him these bunch of questions. And this is all automated conversation that's happening. Which language you want to choose? And then he sets to English. Then we like, do you want to opt in? He said yes. And then, we ask for, oh, I'm sorry, I think I picked up wrong, Akshay.
That's okay. I think Akshay Rungta is fine enough, Akshay, to look at the conversation.
And then, so name, email ID, you can collect, basic information like that. And then you can also move it to people. So here you see Flow Glyphic. And so which means like the flow or automated conversation is happening. But as soon as, somebody asks a more complex question, which may not depend, like you can decide according to your case, but we wanted to, move from here to a user. So then I step in and I answer the questions and carry on the conversation. And then as soon as, this is done, the automated conversation can also go back. So this is how it runs. You can see all of your chats all of your conversations on the right side, all of your contacts and active conversations. So if somebody's just messaged you, you see it, highlighted. If there are no new messages, you just see it here. And all the rest of the features are here. Like, Flows is where you build your automated conversations. There's interactive messages like that button thing I just showed. You build it here. And yes, this is like a very quick high level view of, and we've tried to keep it very simple and, intuitive so that NGOs can learn and adopt the platform at their, they don't need to rely on more tech and dev people to help you out with this. Okay, so this is where we are so far. Let me see if there's anything else. No, and then we've built a support ecosystem for you all. There's a support team, there's community, and if there's more tech implementation, we'll help you with that. These are some, just very few of the NGOs who've been using it, and Reap Benefit is a part of it. So over to Reap Benefit to take it forward. I'll stop sharing now.
Thanks, Abhishek. So hi guys, am I audible? First, mic check.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any questions which are already present? Because if there are, we'll answer that. Then we'll go to the demos.
There's one which says, if one has to do a pilot with a given org, what paperwork and funds would be required? Okay, so Abhishek, the pilot will be like, it will be very, because there are various factors to it. So paperwork you need Facebook Business API access, where you get your business verified on Facebook, and you need a Gupshup account for your API. So which generally takes up to 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, if all your paperwork is ready. And for funds, it really depends. Like, what is your pilot size? How many people you're choosing? How many messages you want to send? and what's the timeline. So based on that, you can estimate. We have a calculator also. I can post it here.
But I think so. Based on what the initial, this is the screen that Abhishek had already shared, right? So the basic plan is, I think, about 15,000 rupees, Abhishek, to get started. Where the Glyphic team will come, it includes 5 hours of consulting, which should be good enough for them to kind of understand your use case and do the initial setup. In terms of paperwork itself, I think that is, like Abhishek said, it requires you to just upload your organizational PAN card and some registration details that Facebook needs to verify the business. And once that is done, I think you should be good to go. But in terms of the cost, I think 15,000 rupees is their initial setup, one-time cost only. And then post that, I think for the initial pilot, 7,500 rupees per month for the hosting charges itself.
You can look at it that way. Yes, that's correct. And then the second question. Okay. The other question is, can we use this with pre-recorded audio messages? So yes, you can use it with pre-recorded. It depends where you are. All you need, or where these messages are, all you need are open links to these messages, meaning it should be publicly accessible. Then you can also attach these in WhatsApp messages and use the same audio messages as.
So Abhishek, can we because it supports. Suppose because it supports multimedia, can you just embed an audio message instead of where if they say type 1 and you send a audio message, you can do that, right?
Yeah, you can do that. Ultimately, it becomes it gets stored on cloud and sends as a link. But so it then sends as an audio note only, but it acts as a link. So from that link, we pick it up. And you can also record directly from the platform. So that's also possible.
I have a question. Is this a part of WhatsApp, or it's a different applications, entirely different from WhatsApp? Or is a part of, will it be a part of WhatsApp?
Okay, should I take
the regular WhatsApp? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, ma'am, so essentially, your beneficiaries or whoever will be using what they will be communicating to the organization via WhatsApp. You can think of Glyphic as a separate software that allows you to talk to your beneficiaries over WhatsApp. So it is not really, it talks over WhatsApp, but it's a different software.
So this need not be downloaded at the end user. Only the people who want to. I understand. Okay.
Exactly. So the end user, for them, the entire experience on their current WhatsApp itself, right?
Right.
Only the organization uses it to manage communications across hundreds or thousands of beneficiaries.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Should we go to the benefits demo?
So on that note, then let me just very, very quickly do a demo. How many of you, but just since you all are on Zoom, you know how to use the reactions, right? You know how to raise hand and put your hand down. Can we just do a very quick test of that? Can you all? Yes. Thank you, Grishma. Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, Akshay. Okay, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you, Ajit. Brilliant. So cool. At any point, in case I want to do a survey, this is what I'm going to do. Now I'm just going to share screen. If my screen is visible, please do tell me.
Yes.
Awesome. We created something called as a Solve Ninja Mentor. Our program basically enables youth to solve local problems with the belief that the minute they start solving local problems, they start taking ownership of their local neighborhoods, therefore impacting not only the quality of life, local governance, environment, multiple things. So we basically call it the problem-solving chatbot. This might be very small, but I hope that you guys can see it. These are all the use cases you can do. You can do data collection of issues. If somebody has taken a problem-solving action, you can document that, like Abhishek was talking, success stories. If somebody has a solution, you can crowdsource it. You can get them to share that. You can enable them to create campaigns and share it. You can ask citizens to share suggestions. You can do audits. either programmatically for your own program internally or for any sort of citizen-centric effort. So one of the audits we did was around potholes for a high court case. And during the last whole year in Bangalore, you would have seen a lot of pothole repair work or footpath repair work. This was because of that. You can enable any sort of polls, you can do any sort of solution provision. Second thing which you can do is any sort of data delivery. You have a program update, you have knowledge you want to share. Let's say you're into, like you were sharing about sustainable pisciculture, you can bring out videos about that and share it. You can get people to ask questions. You can help them apply, let's say, knowledge, could be education. You can help them find a local address book. You can give them simple challenges like a game and get them to take actions. So I'll talk about all of this. Lastly, you can also use it as a way of engaging citizens periodically so that they can keep taking these actions and keep what we call as a civic muscle active. Right? If there's any use case here, which is kind of linked to what you have in mind or what you do in your area of work, just keep this in mind. We'll see if we can do a demo of this. Some numbers so far: more than 80K users, already has one high court case impacted lives of many people in Bangalore. There's another high court case which has collected data for, and we are very sure it will win. During COVID, this is just some numbers, right? At least 300 families got access to beds during the peak of COVID too, right? People were calling up, help line numbers. I'm sure you remember that. But during that, this at least helped Bangalore come to some sort of ease. Deduplicated requests, helped about 20 partner NGOs work together, and therefore helped these 300 people find family beds. Helped with a lot of crowdsourcing of material and crowd disbursement of material, medicines, money, you name it. It's done that. We also did some sort of audits because we realized that the primary healthcare centers were not very strong, right? So which one requires support? We did a very interesting audit. More than 120 PHCs were audited by citizens themselves. And then it has now inspired multiple cities to see if they want to do this as a preparation. In terms of environmental impact, through a very fun-filled, game-based flow, we have about 15 lakh liters of water which has been saved. We have been able to connect this to public grievance redressal systems. So let's say you want to go to Punjab and you want to report a problem to the government, you can do that. Directly it goes there, generates a token ID, comes back. Almost 4 elected representatives are using this to engage the citizens. So therefore, this method has potential. Some examples, we'll skip. Who are all the different people who have used this? Citizens on one end, NGO partners, another end, various government departments, elected representatives, citizen groups, and social entrepreneurs. All these are the people who have used the chatbot where we have enabled citizens to kind of interact with them and vice versa. We'll now go on to sample use cases. Before I go, any questions or any specific use case which caught your attention, which you would want to see more of? If you could just put this into the chat window, we will proceed on that. You can still see my screen, right?
Yes, Gautam, yes.
One example is, I'm showing you the backend. Do you see this? I'm not sure what you're seeing, but can you see the Glyphic backend?
Yes. We are seeing the yeah. So the website that you've opened, Aleem, we are able to see Aleem.
Great. So one of the features of one of the advantages of using WhatsApp is that it's on everyone's phone, and more often than not, someone is using WhatsApp almost all the time. So them getting a message and them reacting during on WhatsApp is very high, right? So one simple example was this. In case of Aleem, we had sent him a message saying, hey, listen, there's a high court case. We are trying to do an independent assessment of the quality of roads and footpaths. Can you please support? It was a very simple flow where if you pressed 1, he would see the call to action from the member secretary. If you press 2, he could report potholes. If you press 3, he could report footpath issues. And if he pressed 4, he could give us feedback so that we could constantly improve the flow. Right? He, in this example, tested out the call to action. It was a YouTube video. He saw it. He clearly understood why this particular paralegal body is working with this intensity and what the deadline to kind of submit this data is. Then he said, okay, that he wants to submit data.
GP, one sec. I think on the microphone, right, there's a lot of wind. Like, do you want to just shift it down a bit, maybe?
This is better now?
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. So very simple. He pressed 2. Just use phone, WhatsApp, to share a location. We confirmed it. He said this is Kanakpura Road. He shared a photo. I'm hoping you guys can see the photograph. He said this has been there for 48 months. And he was able to kind of share this information. He got a response and he was able to share this with more people. This is one example of how the Karnataka High Court got crowdsourced information and was able to hold the BBMP in Bangalore accountable for the poor quality of roads. Right. And because he was already part of this ecosystem, it was easy for us to keep engaging him. So after some time during COVID, we asked him if he could help us find, and he wanted access to information. He was able to find information. We were able to take his help to kind of, so this was another flow where he was helping people find pets. So you put in the person's SRFID. If it's not there, he's able to kind of feed in information and help people get access to beds. This was another use case because again, he was there. There was another one. This data is not yet public, but there was another High Court case where there was an audit on public toilets in the city of Bangalore. It was very easy for us to send him this message. It was one of the template messages and get him to engage. This is one example. We've been able to use these kind of nudges to get citizens to crowdsource information. So during the Chennai floods, it was easy for us to say, hey, can you please help us map where it is flooding and where it is not, right? So towards the end of it, we are able to engage the local governance on where all it is flooding. So this is one simple way we were able to connect the chatbot to a Google Sheet, to a map, and bring up something like this. I hope my map is visible. Yeah. Right. Similarly, we have data which has been crowdsourced for city of Bangalore, for city of Mumbai, for city of Patiala. So all of these are how we are using WhatsApp connected to a map to kind of understand what's happening or to supply information. One use case, this is a sample dashboard, is that once you get all of this information, especially if you're an elected representative or if you're a decision maker, you would want to make some sort of analysis. I think one of the questions by the Socrates team was, can you understand who said what, right? While you can do that in the backend, you can also create some sort of analytics like this, saying what kind of issues are reported, how many of them have been resolved, what is the pattern of data submission, where is it clustered. If you want some sort of sample leaderboard, this is like dummy numbers. You can create a sample leaderboard so that any sort of elected representative or a governmental body can get information and act on it. I'm sharing another dashboard. This was our PHC audit, which I spoke to you about. We were able to get feedback of vaccination centers, collect data of vulnerable communities, map different ninjas. This is data of about 113 primary healthcare centers audited. We were able to very quickly analyze how many of them were in red, which was in bad condition, how many of them were in orange, and unfortunately, how many were in green. We didn't find any which were in a good condition. If you go to, now I'm just going to show you this. So for example, how does this work? Two use cases. Let me just do Chennai rains. If I type Chennai rains very, very quickly, it'll ask me my language. The advantage is this is completely multilingual. So I pick English as a language. I can also pick Tamil and Hindi. The minute I ask that, these are known as interactive messages. It asks me if I want to help, if my neighborhood was affected by rains. So I'm just going to say yes in this example. Because these are clicks, it's very easy for citizens to respond. Then we ask them if they want to share information. So if I say yes, it'll ask me a landmark. So I'm just going to say Thorai. I just know Thorai Pakkam. Thorai Pakkam. Right. Next is going to ask me a pin code. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. So I'm just going to use the example pin code. Next is going to ask me to share the location. Since one of the questions was, can you annotate with the audio? You can also annotate with videos. So in case somebody doesn't know how to share their location, there's a video. I will just go here and share one example location. So I have put a location in Chennai. No. Do you want to share ideas? If you say yes, you can do it. You can say no. It's already mapped it. It gives you the link to the map and it gives you a message which we can use to forward. So in this example, we forwarded this message to 50 people. We've gotten about 700 responses so far. And if you now go to chennai.solinja.org and if you search for Thorai Pakkam, or it's Thorai Pakkam. I'm sure I sent some sort of error in the location, but basically it will map it automatically. This is a simple example. Would love to take any questions you have so far. There are other use cases where we used it to deliver games, content, collect feedback. Happy to answer any questions as you have it.
Grishma says very cool.
Thank you, Grishma. And all this wouldn't be possible without the effort of the Glyphic team, because every time we had, and that's one advantage, every time we had a question, every time we needed support, they were always there. During the peak of COVID, we hit about 1 million messages, and that's when we really hit the cap for the first time. We paid about 750 USD because we just were doing so much of things, schemes, entitlements, bed requests, medicine, locating volunteers, everything. So yeah, they were very helpful. Even then, we said we can't pay more. They spoke to Gupshup, helped us with the cap. So yeah, please to ask questions. Happy to answer anything.
Thanks, Gautam, for the demo, because I think in the presentation it wasn't. I mean, at least it's difficult to see. Okay, how does this actually look in action? But then seeing, send those prompts and then get the responses, as well as Abhishek's thing where, okay, but with the beauty, I mean, at least what I like about this is that, okay, the conversations can keep happening automated in an automatic fashion, but the team has like an overview of each conversation, right? I can go into, and the team can step in at any point of time if they need to, and take over from the automated flow. I think the combination of both of them kind of gives you the comfort that, okay, fine, we can scale it for generic purposes,
100%.
But then if needed, we can intervene as well.
This is another interesting feature where if you, based on certain rules, you can intimate different teammates in the backend. You can add them as staff. Right. So that way they're always in the know of what's happening.
Understood. Cool. So yeah, so I mean, I think so that is primarily what we wanted to share as part of our like workflows, as well as giving you an overview of the tool itself. Like I said, I think we can also kind of just give contact information here on the chat. like I can send in my email ID. Glyphic can, Abhishek can share his email ID or something, and then happy to even on the main. I'm available akshay@rainmatter.org. If you have anything to kind of carry this message forward, or if you just need any inquiry post this call, please feel free to reach out to me or Abhishek, and we'll be more than happy to kind of tell you how to get onboarded onto this and implement it at your specific with your organization.
And in case there's any sort of common use case, because we work in the space of civic or environmental issues, if there's anything you'd want to do and you'd want to do something together, happy to kind of start off with this and then branch into your own Glyphic instance. So that way, whatever we have learned over these years, we are happy to share.
Yeah, so just to kind of rephrase that, so what Gautam is offering is that since they've already got these workflows, if you have a specific use cases with which we're trying to, for example, with Biome, who are interested to map about 1 million wells or at least about 100,000 wells across Bangalore, where they know they exist, but they would like to map them out to understand, where more wells are needed, where are the current existing wells to help look at the recharge system of Bangalore, where they, instead of trying to set up their own separate Glyphic instance, they're collaborating with Reap Benefit to use their existing channels to crowdsource this information, since they already have a network of volunteers contributing citizen-centric data. So these are some of the, if the data that you would like to collect is something that's of public benefit and largely in the context of what Reap Benefit is already doing, I think Gautam would be more than happy to kind of engage with you on that to kind of help source that information. And then, of course, myself and Abhishek, we are there to help you if you have any queries in terms of if you want to get this going. Great. So if you have any questions, I would love to take them. Otherwise, yeah, we can close the session and we can continue the conversation later. Why colored cow? Arvind is asking. Abhishek, you need.
Why colored cow?
I've been trying to translate it in every language and see whether there is something behind it.
Yeah, no. So it's basically based on a book called Purple Cow. And the theory is that if you do great work, and if your work itself speaks for itself, then you don't need to market it, like Taj Mahal, right? So it's so beautifully made that it markets itself. You don't need now to spend money on advertisements and everything. So we wanted to take that philosophy and do work that speaks for itself. And we are also kind of, less on the marketing and sales front because we don't have marketing expertise. And so that's another reason.
Yeah, so another thing that I kind of did not mention is that, so Glyphic is an open source tool, right? And it has got its own independent team. And Colored Cow is a separate consultancy, but some part of engineering effort at Colored Cow, they're involved in they're active contributors to the Glyphic product, as well as they also have their own services providing hosting for Glyphic. So in that way, they are kind of, Colored Cow is partners for Glyphic in a way to kind of clarify what that Colored Cow and what Glyphic is.
Thanks.
Yeah. Great. All right. Thank you everyone for joining. And yeah, so thanks, Sitalakshmi. I mean, I'll follow up with you in terms of how to kind of implement and to understand your use case better at Buzzwoman. All right. Great. Thanks, Abhishek. Thanks, Gautam. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Good day, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.